This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. Hi, everybody. I'm Amber, and today my fabulous co-host is Miss Audrey Gruss. She is the founder of Hope Fragrances. We're going to be talking about that, and also the Hope for Depression Research Foundation. It is such an honor to have you on here, a woman who is truly giving back. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, Amber, it's a pleasure and an honor to be with you. And you're so beautiful. And obviously, you're an example of your entire podcast. So I'm very happy to be with you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure that I looked good for you. Now, you have a long history in beauty yourself. And I'm wondering, before we sort of talk the new products, before we talk about the very, very important foundation, can you give us a little bit of your background?
Well, it's very interesting that I have a degree, a bachelor of in biology from Tufts University. And I did not want to go into straight science. In other words, it was very hard at the time in the 70s to go into medicine or into something for women. You could get a degree in education or get a secretarial degree and then start somewhere. And I didn't get the secretarial degree, but I started in a very unusual place and used my degree at the Revlon Research Center. So amazing. I thought it would be very interesting. I don't remember whether they came to the school or I just thought of it myself, of going to a cosmetic company by using some of the skills I had in science and then some of just the basic creative abilities that I've always had. I think my mother, I know my mother was a very creative person. She was a writer and a teacher. And so at Revlon Research Center, they had more art on their walls than a museum. They were fantastic. And I learned a tremendous amount about marketing. And also I worked with the director of ophthalmological research and the medical director, Dr. Brower and Dr. Updike were my mentors. I would do things like take product applications to Washington when they were doing Eterna 27, an old cream like that with hormones in it. It was fascinating. Then they put me in the marketing department. And for marketing, I went to J.P. Stevens, which was the oldest textile company in America, the second largest. And I became director of advertising and creative director of J.P. Stevens Hosiery. We started a brand. We started 3 brands in 1 year, and we went from 0 to 30 million, which was a lot in the 70s.
It's still a lot today.
Isn't that a lot? I mean, in 1 year, and I traveled to 90 of the top 100 stores in America. That is how to cut your teeth in retailing. I mean, it was amazing. Making presentations, putting brands in, doing promotions, all of that. So I kind of got to do that when I was very young. And I loved luxury product marketing. After that, I went to Elizabeth Arden, where I had 5 promotions in 5 years and became director of advertising and creative services for 55 countries internationally.
I mean, it's amazing. Excuse me to stop you or to interrupt you, but to go from having this sort of science and being in sort of the research R&D to then transition into marketing to become such a huge executive. How was that shift?
The shift was because I was always creative. Had that creative side to me. When they did the English placement exam, for example, at Tufts, I got first out of both the men and women. There were like 1,000 Tufts men and only 200 women, and they called our school the Jackson School for Women. It was very Jackson College. It was very amazing. But out of that whole group, I placed first. So I was very good in English. I was very good in writing, in performing, and I never kind of really understood my own creative abilities until I became a creative director I was hired at J.P. Stevens, for example, when I hadn't even known much about advertising, but they liked my background. They liked I came from Revlon, which was a very big and very successful company at the time. And it was baptism by fire.
Right.
I learned a lot, while I was there from other people, and I had mentors. And that's how that transition happened. And I
Amazing.
loved my field. I loved the skincare business. I loved cosmetics. I loved the creativity of marketing, finding new photographers, finding new models, doing unusual creative things. And we were the first in the field, in the industry, to do scientific marketing of skincare. We did an ad for
At Elizabeth Arden?
Yes, we were.
Okay.
We did an ad for Visible Difference in the early 80s, where we put the copy was something like penetrates 30 skin layers to create a visible difference in your skin. And we didn't have a beautiful model and the typical kind of thing. We had, I think, one of our lab tests where it showed a little penetration line that had penetrated deep down into the skin. So it was fascinating to be able to do that in the field and set some bars to be copied.
I mean, amazing. And talk about setting some bars, because at the time in the 70s, marketing and advertising was still pretty much a male dominated industry.
Totally, totally, absolutely. And I love that too, because I think we started making a difference and doing it in the cosmetics industry or skincare. Really, skincare was where that science came in. And I was very proud of the fact that we created those first ads in the Visible Difference line and in Millennium, the last thing that I did before I left Arden.
It must be incredible to you today to now have seen this shift where everything is so much more of a scientific base. Consumers are so educated about ingredients, about clinical studies. So that must be an incredible thing to have witnessed.
Well, I'm proud of the role that I played in it.
Yeah.
And it kind of has changed over the years because through podcasts like yours, we have more informed consumers. I think it's wonderful, and video and the technology and online and all of that has changed. I think there's much more information available. There wasn't in my era.
Right. And now, big companies have to be a little bit more accountable to, promise on their or to deliver on their promises. Also, to make sure that the ingredients are, now we have a lot of clean beauty. So I think it has been an incredible shift. I do want to talk about you really then managed to combine your two loves, science, and actually three loves, science, marketing, advertising, and skincare. And you have created just a beautifully incredible line. Hope Fragrances. I have here behind me one of the candles. You've got body creams and beautiful perfumes that are now sold in Bergdorf Goodman.
3 fragrances.
Mm-hmm.
I have half-used bottles in my home here down in Florida. Of course, my office is in New York, but I'm talking to you from beautiful Florida. So here's my 3 fragrances. The original Hope, a beautiful yellow color because of the essences that it contains. Hope Sport in green, and Hope Night. A very plummy, kind of sexy looking fragrance. It even looks sexy. And I'll tell you how it all happened.
Yes.
I started a charity foundation called Hope for Depression Research Foundation 16 years ago. My mother had depression. We thought it was called a nervous breakdown, in the 50s. And when she had it, 50s, 60s. And they didn't know much about mental health. And when she passed away 17 years ago, I went to her psychiatrist and to many other doctors, and I asked, why couldn't my mother be made totally the same as when she was first diagnosed with depression? Why couldn't we do more? I thought she was taking various medications, a cocktail of medications from all around the world. And I found out that most of the medication out there is based on serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
And serotonin is an actual neurotransmitter that our bodies makes. But when we have depression, there's less serotonin because some of it is being just taken up inappropriately by our body. They don't know exactly what causes depression or any of the mental health illnesses that are the non-psychotic illnesses. which represent 95% of all mental illness. So I thought, what can I do? What can I do to help? And because of my marketing background and always working with teams and committees and creating better things by working with creative people, I decided I would form a foundation named after my mother in memory. Her name was really Hope. I mean, what could be more ironic than that, Amber? I mean, just amazing.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And my concept was to get the leading doctors in their fields, and the neuroscience breaks down into microbiology and cellular biology and genetics and epigenetics and all of these different sub areas. So I found the leading doctors, who they were in each field, and put 10 of the most outstanding doctors in the country together. One is from Canada, one is from Germany, and another works in Singapore as well. And my whole concept was to have them share information in real time rather than work in silos.
Right.
And we founded the foundation, and it's now one of the leading, if not the leading, research organization in the country. These doctors work together, share information in real time, put it into the Hope Data Center that we have at the University of Michigan, and they have made great progress. We even have a new category of antidepressant that's being clinically tested on the East Coast and the West Coast, and the results so far have been 84% effective.
So I was so surprised. First of all, I hope everybody listening to this now understands why I was so honored to have you on. I've got the chills right now because you are such an incredible woman. And when you've said you have really, truly put together a think tank of the brightest people in their fields to work on this. And this has been solely funded by your foundation. We will talk more about the products, but 100% of the profit for the products goes to this foundation.
Back to the foundation.
You are doing so much. And we're talking about tens of millions of dollars that have been put into this research. I was surprised.
Over 50 million to date.
Over 50 million to date. Thank you. Because depression and mental illness used to have such a stigma. It's getting better now. Depression is something that I feel like everybody at some point either has suffered from themselves on some level or knows somebody who has.
You're absolutely right.
But I was surprised to learn that, aside from Prozac, right, and SSRIs, and then there's SNRIs, I believe.
SNRI.
NRI. So
norepinephrine. There's a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor and selective norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. Those two dominate the field. The problem is that 50% of the people who need antidepressants, who take this type of antidepressant, do not respond to them. 50%. Wow. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take this treatment-resistant person and find a new category of antidepressant that will work for them. We are so close to...
I'm just so in awe of you. And
thank you.
I was so surprised. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but what I was doing in my research, I realized that Prozac, which is now almost roughly 30 years old.
35 years old, over 35 years old. It was launched in 1985.
Okay. But that's sort of
Can we do math that quickly? I think it's over 35 years old.
Okay. And it was... No, it's a Friday here and my brain is on vacation. So if you could also work on creating that limitless pill, I will be happy to test it. But that there really hasn't been any other sort of, there's been different variations of these SSRIs or SNRIs, but there hasn't been anything new in this field.
Amber, every medication out there is a version of Prozac.
Right.
Of SSRI or SNRI in the same serotonin category. And to know that 50% don't respond to it that's what I heard. When I heard that, I thought maybe I could do something. I worked for so many charities, and every charity that I was involved with was wonderful and necessary and did great work. but nothing touched me closer than something that I saw my mother go through. It was terrible. It was a tragedy that a fabulous, vibrant woman who wrote every day of her life, except when she was in the hospital, that she had to have this illness that people didn't want to talk about even, but our foundation, HDRF, Hope for Depression Research Foundation, and online we're hopefordepression.org. That foundation totally focused on new things, on working on new categories of medication and trying to find what we could do to get to these 50% that didn't respond. The second aspect, because we have two parts of our mission, is to raise awareness about it. And every year we have in New York a fundraising lunch at the Plaza. It's very elegant. It's the whole room is yellow. You notice that I'm wearing sunshine yellow.
Oh,
and yellow is the color of hope.
Yeah.
We have created that, and everybody responds to that sunny, wonderful color. And at the Plaza, we have over 350 people, movers and shakers from everywhere, and they donate to the cause. And part of those funds go to raise awareness. That stigma that you mentioned is still there, but it's absolutely smaller. People in the urban areas are much more comfortable with talking about depression. When I first had, created the lunch and created the foundation, a friend of mine said to me, "Why are you doing this? It's so difficult. People don't want to talk about it." And I said, "That's exactly why. This is something that millions suffer with." Oh, I have an amazing statistic for you. Recently, post-COVID, there was a study done by by two major, very important organizations, and they found out that 1/3 of Americans, from children to geriatrics, 1/3 of Americans suffered from depression and anxiety. You know what that is? Over 110 million people. It is right up there with cancer and heart disease and other very, very prevalent. It is the number one reason in the world for disability. Number one reason is depression.
I mean,
and I thought, in order to raise money, instead of just doing our fundraiser, we also do a race of hope in Palm Beach, where we get over 700 people that come out. I thought, what else can I do? What else is there that I can think of that we can raise awareness about our foundation and about this need for more research, etc. And I thought, oh my goodness, my mother loved fragrance. I learned from her how to layer fragrances. I was in the fragrance business. At Elizabeth Arden, we launched Chloe, and we had Miss Arden's Bluegrass. It was all fabulous. I knew a bit about that, and I knew how to go about creating a fragrance. So I went to the top 3 companies, gave them my brief on what I wanted to create, and Firmenich responded immediately. The president of Firmenich, who was a brilliant, brilliant man, Mr. Vittoria, he loved the concept. And I remembered some of the fragrances that my mother loved. She would put together, she had on her dressing table, Miss Dior for Lily of the Valley. She had tuberose in, I can't remember right now. She had gardenia, the Elizabeth Taylor gardenia fragrance, and freesia.
Oh,
so
delish.
We had 4 amazing fragrances that I wanted to meld, and Firmenich fused them. They fused these essences into something that is an amazing white flower fragrance. And this is the original Hope. So we launched that several years ago at Saks Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
And then we came up with Hope Sport, which has 2 of the DNA white fragrances, but also has a secret green ingredient that I'm not going to tell anybody.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But
does it have like a sporty feel to it? Like more of a like springy? Okay, gotcha.
The green fragrance is like you're walking on fresh dew in green grass. And
oh, love it.
Smell
spring
of grass and green and a little bit of white makes it very, and it also, we feel it energizes you to smell that in the morning. I put on my gym clothes and I put on, I cannot walk out without Hope Sport on me because I
Right.
feel that's my finishing touch. No earrings, no makeup, ponytail. And Hope Sport keeps me going all morning. Then we created for a 24-hour field, Hope Night. This is so romantic. This has vanilla and plum, and this is in the body butter that we created. It is fantastic. So
It
this
is so
fragrance,
beautiful. And I love that you
it's
said
beautiful.
date night. Sorry. Yeah. Tell us about the fragrance.
Oh my God, it's got vanilla and plum and vetiver and amber and patchouli. And the texture of it is
Is
phenomenal. It really is like a buttery but creamier feel. Goes right in. Am I
Oh,
right?
it's so, and you know what? I have a date tonight. It is date night for
Ooh,
me. So I love that you just said that it's date night. It does. It has it almost reminds me of like a cashmere fragrance. Like it's
yes.
very
Oh, what a beautiful way to put it. I had to change all
sultry.
my copy.
Oh, well, there you go. You're welcome. But it does. That's what it brings us like to mind, like a cashmere elegance to it. And it even has that sort of a beautiful look and feel for people who can see here.
It's
But it
kind of
is,
very
I,
pale, the palest lavender you could do. We
it's
thought was
so
part of
sultry
that.
and lovely.
Isn't it
And the
wonderful?
quality, you said it goes right into your
There's coconut in there, coconut oil and shea butter. And they're known for kind of their anti-inflammatory and soothing aspect. I love it. I mean, I just returned from Colorado where it was so cold. We were 11,000 square feet. If I didn't take my body butter, I'd be like a little dried up prune. I just used it all over me. And I have to tell you about Hope Night. The
oh yeah.
Hope Night fragrance, when you spray that on your pulse points, behind your ears, on your neck, right here in the center of your elbow, behind your knees, and here on your wrists, the fragrance lasts all night. It's very, very sexy.
I'm
I
telling
mean,
you, if you can see
you
the
look
smile,
sexy.
because I have been dying, I always try to wait to dip into anything until I have my beautiful podcast because I want it to look beautiful. But I have been dying to get this on my body. I've been sneaking it a little bit, but I wanted it to look nice for the show today because it does. It smells so lovely. And right now, kind of in the middle of the winter, it has
Yes.
that it's like a sexy, but not overdone. I could see any age wearing this, and it really has that beautiful, sexy fragrance to it. And then on top of that, we do have Valentine's Day coming up next week. So let me say, if you are looking for a beautiful gift that you can not only know that your giftee is going to feel great in, but you can feel so good about giving, Hope Fragrances is it. And now where can they purchase these products? I know on hopefragrances.com, right?
Three places.
Okay.
At Bergdorf Goodman online, Eugene online. We just launched at Neiman Marcus last week. So Neiman Marcus online and at Hope Fragrances, hopefragrance.com. Online, they can get all of this. And it is remarkable because 100% of profits goes directly back to research. So if you want to give a hostess gift right now, if you're going for New Year's Eve parties and you want to bring something amazing, I think it's only $75 for the,
Yes.
I think that's what it is. I mean, what a beautiful gift, beautifully packaged to bring to a hostess. Exactly. And it is luscious, it's extravagant and beautiful, luxurious, and it's a wonderful gift for somebody right now for New Year's, for Valentine's Day, and really the whole winter anywhere in the States, because I have one woman who calls me from England who's a
Oh,
fan and says, please ship me more, ship me more. I gotta go skiing, ship me more. But
well, if you
it's
yeah,
just beautiful.
if you take a look at where you're being sold, Bergdorf, Neiman Marcus, I mean, you're really in the creme de la creme. So that is quality all the way. And trust me, I've met with those beauty buyers. They are very, very picky and choosy.
They are
Um,
knowledgeable.
you
They
know,
are.
so you have this beautiful line of candles, of body butter, and of your three fragrances. Is there
And we have
something
a hand and body cream,
and a hand and body
and
cream?
we have purse sizes. I just don't have it here with me. Sorry. Little adorable 0.5 ounce, 0.5 ounce little purse sprays that can go on an airplane or can go in your purse. And the teeniest, tiniest purse you have will fit it in. I love to go to carry that little purse spray with me. And then when I have to go to the loo or whatever, I just refresh my perfume and my signature. I walk around with my signature. Everybody loves the fragrances, and the body butter is the newest thing that we've done.
So now I hate to ask you this, but I have to. Is there one of the three that's sort of your favorite?
We created 3 for the kind of 3 times a day. The Hope is my signature, and it's become the signature of so many women because it's so beautiful. I put that on when I go to lunch, when I go to an early dinner. I'm around the office or wherever so I love the original one. And sport, I wear every day, every morning when I go to my gym or when I go to a gym and I wear this every day in the morning, but then I'll put on the original Hope for if it's a fancy lunch like I went to today. And at night, I feel naked without this.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it is. So the Hope night is, well, let me just tell you, I have a feeling my husband's going to be very close to me tonight. So thank you for that, Audrey. Appreciate that.
Oh, Amber, you deserve it.
So, I have to ask you, you've had this illustrious career, like we said, in beauty. You've done research. Let's talk a little bit about you now. Are there products that you swear by? Are there beauty tips that you've picked up over the years that you feel like this is my absolute must-have?
Absolutely. I will share what I think are some of the best products. I think the most important thing is skincare. I think if your skin is not in shape, you really are not giving yourself just the just self-care that you deserve. So I use Retin-A.
Yeah.
And I use it from Dr. Brandt, Brandt. Dr. Brandt was the king of Botox. I met him and went to him 3 times, and I thought he was brilliant. And he created this line. So I use Retin-A every evening. If I run out of it or something, there's a fabulous medical brand called Alastin, Alastin.
Yes.
They have a wonderful Retin-A as well. In the morning, I use the Do Not Age creams and regime from Dr. Brandt. So after I put on a serum from him, a pearl serum, kind of very glowy, I wait a few minutes and then I put on the Do Not Age moisturizer. I mean, I'm over 100, so no, I'm kidding.
No.
But
your skin is radiant.
It keeps me very in good stead. I'm very comfortable with these products. I also found a fabulous makeup that is so dewy and simple. I've had this on since 10 o'clock this morning. Charlotte Tilbury.
Oh yeah, I've got her eyes. I mean, Charlotte Tilbury has beautiful products.
Charlotte Tilbury, I discovered a few years ago in London, and I was thrilled when they came to the States. And I think it's the most glowy, lovely, light makeup. People don't think I'm even wearing makeup. So
no, you look
have
beautiful
brows. So after we put on our makeup, the brow pencil that I use is from Revlon.
No, of course. I was waiting for that. Well,
Revlon has and had terrific products. They always had a great research lab. So I figured if I know that over the years, why not? So they have a pencil and a gel on the other end. And I use the pencil and then put a little bit of that gel, to make it, to bring up the little hairs that we have. The mascara that I use is fantastic. It's by Shiseido. So you get a lot of release from it. And then at night, I put over whatever I've had during the day, because I have kind of just normal, middle kind of thin hair, but a lot of it. And the same thing with my lashes. At night, after I put on my Hope night, I'll use a mascara called Bad Girl Bang.
Oh, I love it. By
oh my God, Bad Girl
by
Bang.
Benefit.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
So I put that on, and then I have the lipsticks I use are peachy pink, not too much pink,
Okay.
But peachy and bronzy. And I try them from every brand. I have everything from Le Clay de Peau. From that, I use old Revlon, one called Gold Goddess that I have on
Okay.
now.
It's
Totally
beautiful.
discontinued. Some of the best colors get discontinued. And that's kind of my regime. Blusher, I'm always looking for the prettiest, slightly glowing, peachy kind of color for my skin coloring.
I would tell you, Wander Beauty has a beautiful dual-ended stick. It's a cream because I'm wearing it right now, and it has a highlighter on one end, which I kind of swipe on, and then I swipe on the cream, and I kind of Wander Beauty has a beautiful one. But boy, your makeup looks absolutely stunning, and I want to be conscious because I know you probably have a very busy schedule. Did you know Dr. Brandt also does a lot of research for depression as well? So they're very active in that as well.
I did not know that, and I'll have to speak to them. He passed away about 5 years ago, and it was a great loss to the field.
Very big loss.
He does research for depression, my kind of guy.
Yeah, they're
fantastic.
The Brandt I think is a Dr. Brandt Foundation, and he does work with a lot of the LGBT youth, which is wonderful. So their microdermabrasion, it's that microdermabrasion, which was his first signature product, donates a big portion of their product or their proceeds to depression as well.
Thank you. I'm learning something new every day.
Audrey, I want to just say thank you so much for giving us your time. If you could remind everybody again where they can pick up the beautiful Hope fragrances, the body butter, the candle. If they're looking for a little gift to give to somebody that they know is going to give back, where can they go?
Absolutely. At Bergdorf or Bergdorf online and at Neiman Marcus online. Great. So you just go neimanmarcus.com. And all three fragrances, the whole line of products is there with a candle, our purse spray, and this wonderful new body butter. It is delicious.
And I would also encourage everybody to look at your Hope for Depression Research Foundation page. It's very incredible.
Thank you. It's hopefordepression.org. Everything is on there. Things like that Everybody can get depression. Every race, religion, creed, education level, sex, it's possible that they can get depression. We want to minimize that. Yeah. We want to raise people's awareness so they know the 10 signs of depression. They can see all of that online at hopefordepression.org.
I get it seasonally. So seasonally, I do take an SSRI. I'm luckily one of the people that it does help. But you know, I was blown away when you said that 50% of people who really probably desperately need this are not getting the help. So I want to thank you so much. If people want to donate to your foundation, they can do that on the on your Hope for Depression Research Foundation as well. And you can learn, it's just mind-boggling. You've got beautiful videos on there so they can learn and see all the incredible steps you're making. And hopefully, you mentioned that you're in clinical studies.
We're waiting. I would say within the next 6 to 8 months, we should know if we have totally achieved proof of concept for this medication. And then we would go to a major pharmaceutical company and see if we can work out an arrangement where they spend the hundreds of millions that are required to get FDA approval. But we are so close to the proof of concept on it. I will let you be among the first to know when this happens.
Please do. Oh, you are so wonderful. And you know, I'm going to be in Florida in a couple of weeks, so maybe I'll look you up.
You are, definitely.
I am.
Brittany will give you all my numbers, and I'd love to have lunch with you and show you our house. And we're right on the water, on the lake and the beach, and it's just beautiful down here.
You're going to make everybody listening jealous right now. I want to thank you so much, Audrey. Thank you for your time. You're doing incredible things. We will look for you. We will support you. And again, if you have any questions, listeners at home, you want me to pass on to Audrey, I'm always happy to do that. You can email me at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and right here on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.